Saraswati Didi. Wow, these roses, this is from the garden. It's very fragrant. It's interesting, the store-bought roses is like no fragrance, but one little one from the garden, it's very...
The secret is when you're going to buy the plant, you smell it.
Oh, so some of them do have a scent.
Yes,
You have to check. Okay, so I think we might be live now. So it is Wednesday. Wednesday is it the 9th? The 10th of August? The 10th of August. 10th of August. And Friday, yesterday was the disappearance day of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Gauridas Pandit. Friday is Baladev's Divine Appearance Day. And Saturday is the anniversary festival. A lot of things are happening. In honor of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, it would actually be nice to hear something about Rūpa Gosvāmī. So let me think. Which section should we read? No, Rūpa Gosvāmī is not on our altar. Rūpa Gosvāmī is from the time of Mahāprabhu, so 500 years ago, around. So you've heard of the 6 Goswāmis? So he's one of the 6 Goswāmis.
Yeah, the picture is Mahāprabhu,
Not in the Panchatattva. No. Not in the the Panchatattva is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Shivas. Right? Now, so Rūpa Gosvāmī, he actually worked for the Muslim government. And he came from a Brahmin family, but he was recruited because Rūpa and his elder brother Sanatan, they were both very, very brilliant, very intelligent, and so one of the Muslim rulers, Nawab Hussain Shah was his name, recruited them to work for his government, and they became the prime minister and the finance minister, respectively. So very influential, prominent positions. So because of that, they were rejected by Hindu society. Because in those days, and still you'll find in some places in India, it's considered if you associate closely with someone of another caste, then it's considered you will lose your caste. So because you understand the word caste, yeah. So it was considered, because they were working closely with the Muslims, then they were like Muslims. So the Hindus considered them to be Muslims. So they were based in a place called, what is it called? What's the name? I forget now. I forget the name of the city. In Bengal. They were based in one city where the king had his headquarters. Ramkelli. Ramkelli is the name. And they heard about Mahāprabhu. And they also knew from descriptions in the scriptures that the Lord was coming in this age, and they could recognize from what they heard about Mahāprabhu, oh, this is actually the Lord himself. And so they were very eager to meet him. And then finally they got one chance to meet him when Mahāprabhu was on his way to Vrindavan at one time. And that time they were still working with the king, and so they came secretly in the middle of the night to meet him, and they offered very beautiful prayers to him, and then they returned to the palace, and then a little later they wrote a letter to Mahāprabhu asking him, oh, we want to give up all of our work and we want to stay with you. And Mahaprabhu gave a very interesting response. He said that there's one famous verse which I cannot remember, but Mahaprabhu, he gave the analogy of a woman who has a secret lover. And he said that, if a woman has a secret lover, then actually she will do all of her household duties even better than before. Right? So in her heart, she's thinking about her lover, her secret life. But on the surface, she's cleaning and cooking for her husband and taking care of her family very perfectly, right? So he told them, don't be so eager to give up your life in the world. Keep it in your heart. Continue. So you have this duty now in the government. So do that perfectly, and in your heart you can hold this. Can culture this, and he also indicated, in the future, in the proper time, then you will be able to leave. But for now, you don't need to change anything. So they continued with their jobs for some time. And then finally, at a certain, period, they felt it was time to give it up, and so they left, and they both had slightly different journeys when they left their work. Sanatana Gosvāmī was especially dear to the Muslim ruler, and the Muslim ruler actually put him in jail because he was afraid of losing him. And so Sanatana Gosvāmī, the elder brother Rūpa, he had this whole history, escaping from jail, and it was like a movie, very dramatic. He had to bribe the jailkeeper, and had a dangerous journey to reaching Mahaprabhu. And meanwhile, Rūpa Gosvāmī was able to leave a little earlier. It was a little easier for him. And he met with Mahaprabhu in Prayag, which is kind of not so far from Vrindavan. My geography is very bad, but not so far from Vrindavan, Mathura, that area. So I believe what happened is Mahaprabhu was in Vrindavan at the time, and Rūpa Gosvāmī heard Mahaprabhu's in Vrindavan, so he started traveling towards Vrindavan to meet Mahaprabhu. But then Mahaprabhu had to leave Vrindavan a little early, and they met on the way in Prayag. Prayag is a famous city. It's a place, maybe you've heard of it, where these three sacred rivers, the Saraswati, Ganga, and Jamuna, they all meet. The confluence is there. So it's considered a very sacred. That's where the Kumbh Mela. Maybe you've heard about Jai Mahaprabhu. Maybe you've heard about the Kumbh Mela. That's where they hold it. You've heard of the Kumbh Mela? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they hold it there in Prayag. So Mahaprabhu's, as I recall, Mahaprabhu's leaving Vrindavan, going back to Puri, and Rūpa's on his way to Vrindavan to meet Mahaprabhu. Then they happen to meet in Prayag. And then Mahaprabhu instructed him for 10 days. And in particular, Mahaprabhu, he instructed him in the teachings of Abhideya Tattva. Abhideya. This is a good thing to remember. Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayoja. So Mahaprabhu explains that all the teachings of devotion, they can be summarized in these three categories. Sambandha means understanding our proper relationship with the environment. You maybe heard that word, sambandha, before. Means understanding what is my true nature, that I'm a spirit soul. What is the nature of the different energies in the environment? Who is Krishna, and what is Maya, and all these things. This is called Sambandha Gyan. What is what? Love, verda, right? Like the reality of things, having that knowledge, that is called Sambandha Gyan. And then prayojan means the goal. And that simply is, in one word, is prema, divine love. The goal is Krishna prema, divine love for Krishna. And then abhideya means like the path, the way, how you will achieve prema. And that is bhakti, practices of devotion. And so Rūpa Gosvāmī is sometimes described as the acharya of abhideya tattva, because Mahāprabhu especially instructed him in this type of subject matter, the different practices of devotion and the mood. What is the nature of pure devotion? What are the practices of pure devotion? And all of these things. And so there's one, is it one or two chapters in Chaitanya Charitamrita that describe Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rūpa Gosvāmī. So it was 10 days, Mahaprabhu personally, and it's there in that chapter. You know this famous, chapter 19, you know this famous analogy of the creeper of devotion, the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the vine of devotion. That comes from those teachings. Mahaprabhu instructing Rūpa Gosvāmī, it comes from there. And also there's that famous verse, Brahmanda, I don't know if you know any verses, but Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. Have you heard that verse? You probably heard it. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. It's a very famous verse saying that the very fortunate soul, after wandering through so many lifetimes, through so many different universes, they receive the seed of the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the creeper of devotion, by the grace of Guru and Krishna. You maybe heard this idea, right? So it also comes from there. And then Mahaprabhu also develops on that analogy, saying that once we've received that seed, we must become a gardener, right? And we have to water that seed. We can maybe read a few verses. Those verses are very nice. Actually, I would like to read these verses. Here it is. This is that verse I was just saying. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. Mali hoya kore se bijaropan, Shravana kirtana jale koroye shechan. When a person receives the seed of devotion, they should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in their heart. If they water the seed gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Upajya Barelata Brahmanda Bedi Jai Viraja Brahmalok Bedi Padavom Pai. As one waters the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed sprouts, and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe and goes beyond the Viraja river, lying between the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmalok, the Brahman effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet, Goloka, Vrindavan. So you've heard of this analogy, right, of a vine, a creeper, that you recognize that word? What's the Spanish for? It's a plant that climbs, a vine or a creeper.
Yeah, camino.
No. Let me look it up in the dictionary. It's like jasmine. These plants that they. Not camino. Camino means like the path. No. What happened? I just changed to a Russian dictionary. What happened? Oh my goodness. What did I do? My phone just changed to Russian. Not Russian. I don't want Russian. Russian to Spanish. Okay. English. Enredadera.
What happened? You lost your dictionary?
No, my keyboard suddenly changed to Russian. Somehow. It's okay, I worked it out. Okay.
Enredadera.
Oh, yeah, enredadera. Sí.
Enredadera. And the other, yeah, same. Creeper we also say. Enredadera, it's the same, yeah.
Enredadera.
Enredadera. So this enreda, that's a difficult one. Enredadera, it will climb, right? So we have the seed, and it grow. If we water the seed, right, then it will grow, and it will grow through all the different planes of the material existence, and finally it will reach Goloka Vrindavan. And that represents our faith. That enredadera, it represents our faith. As it climbs, it's moving to higher and higher levels of faith. All of the material planes represent different types of consciousness. And so as our consciousness evolves and grows, our faith will grow through so many different conceptions, so many different ideas, right? So now our seed is, maybe we have a tiny, tiny sprout. Do you know the word sprout? Sprout. Brote. Yeah, ahora tiene un muy pequeña. Brote. Very tiny brote. Tiny. Something. It's just opening a little bit. The seed is opening a little bit. Germinating. We're in the germination. Sí. Germinating. Our seed is germinating. Germinando. So, yeah. Our seed is germinating.
Nuestra semilla está germinando.
But, through Shravan and Kirtan, right? The hearing, the chanting, giving nutrients, right? Nutrients to the soil. Sadhu Sangha, Vaishnava Seva, all these things are like nutrients. Fertilizer, right? And also removing the weeds. You know weeds? You recognize weeds? We're having a Spanish-English class today. weeds. Malas
Malas hierbas.
malas hierbas, to remove them. Yeah, weeds. Then it can continue to grow, right? Proper and good sunlight, water, medicine, fertilizer, all these things. Then it can grow very strong, So we have to think like that. Our gurus have given us this precious gift, and we have to take care of it. We can't just leave it there. Otherwise, it will just wait. It will be sitting there waiting for the right environment. Gurudev explained that too, how, like when we receive the name, the holy name from Guru, then maybe it will remain in our heart in a sleeping way for some time. Because the environment is not favorable. It's like, say, if we go into a polluted atmosphere, we will have to like cover our heads, right? We don't want to breathe. It's very polluted, very contaminated. There's nothing we can do, right? We will retreat. But if the environment is clean, and pure, and the air is good, and then we can breathe, we can dance. So the name now is our heart is a little dirty. So the name is waiting, is sleeping, in dormant state. Just like a seed, right? You can keep a seed on your shelf, on camille, is it camille? What was seed? Seed? Semilla. If you just keep it in your room, it won't sprout, right? Because doesn't have the proper environment. So we've received the name, but if the environment is not good, it cannot open up, cannot reveal itself. But when the environment is nice, there's fertilizer, there's water, all these things, there's sunlight, then the name will be very happy and can dance and show its beauty. So it is like that. So Gurudev, he would say sometimes, make your hearts fertile. Make your hearts fertile. You must make your heart attractive and clean for the holy name. But it is there. It will not leave us, at least. It will not go away. It will wait very patiently for us. Unless the only problem is Vaishnava Parad. That is the only danger. And so then the analogy given here is the Mati Hatta, the mad elephant. In India, this is an Indian example. Maybe you make a very nice flower garden or vegetable garden, and then an elephant from the jungle will come and tear everything up from the roots. Not like on the surface, but from the roots, right? So this is the Vaishnava Parad, offense to the Vaishnavas, is compared to this elephant like that will come in. But let me finish reading these verses, they're very nice. Tabe jai tadupari goloka vrindavan, Krishna charanka pavike kore arohan. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravan Kirtan, the Bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. Tahavistadita hoya fole prema fol, ihamali seche nitya shravanadi jal. The creeper greatly expands in the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. Yadi Vaishnava Parad Utehati Mata Upadeva Chindeta Shuki Jai Pata. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotion in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. Tate male jatna kori avaran aparadhastira jaichana hoy udgam. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. Kintu jarilata sange ute upashaka bhukti mukti vancha jata sankyata leka. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material, so weeds, or malas erbas. Malas hierbas, like desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotion. The varieties of such unwanted malas hierbas is unlimited. There's no limit. Many varieties. So when we're growing, when we're nourishing the creeper of devotion, then what do we have to do? We have to give water and nourishment, number 1. 2, we have to protect it with a fence, which means protect ourselves from making offenses to the Vaishnavas, the criticizing the Vaishnavas, envy of the Vaishnavas, number 2. And number 3, we have to remove the weeds, which means our other anya, whatever is other than Krishna, material desires. I would like to stop. I want to read, you know what I want to do? I feel like we haven't glorified Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī enough.
Tomorrow, right?
What's tomorrow?
Disappears.
No, the calendar, there's a mistake on the calendar. Yeah, yesterday my whole world was rocked because I looked at the calendar, because I saw like Gosvāmī Maharaj gave a class about Gosvāmī Maharaj, and somebody else made a post, and I was like really confused, and I checked the calendar and it says it's a mistake on our the calendar. I have to tell Madhusudan Maharaj.
Okay,
well,
so
it's too late now.
Today
No, it was yesterday. Because it says Thursday the 9th. Yeah, but it should say Tuesday the 9th. So I just saw Thursday and I thought, oh, it's Thursday. But Lavanya points it out. And, yeah.
Okay.
So we missed it. But then last night I said something in the Zoom meeting, but it was the end of the day, so. But I would like to also read Śrīla Śrīla Maharaj's prayers. They're very beautiful. And they're actually in the Kirtan guide too. But you can also follow them here. They're in the Kirtan guide as well.
Okay, which page?
It'll be at the end. I can tell you the page. I don't remember the first line, but it's in the section
Is
of.
it 210?
It's 295 in the Kirtan guide. It's Srimad Rūpa Pararaja Partana Dashakam.
210 of the
210 in here,
Rapana Jivanamrita for those who are
following online. Okay. So aspiring for the dust of Srimad Rūpa Gosvāmī's lotus feet. Srimad Chaitanya Purochara Kamala Yugo Netra Bingo Madhudyo Godeto Payayanto Vajra Vipinagato Yaja Yukto Samutko Vato Sabrat Chikasya Swajana Ganapatir Yasya Sobhagya Bhumna Sashirupa Kadamam Nijapara Rajasa Bushitam Samvidate. Do you want to read that, Devi? Translation.
The translation.
For that, the first
Okay.
verse.
Śrīla aspires for the dust of Srimad Rūpa Gosvāmī's lotus feet. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is the mine of the most precious treasure, the leader of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, the divine succession, being known as the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya, the followers of Sri Rūpa. In the company of his brother, he was resplendent in the province of Gouda, causing the fervent twin bumblebees in the form of the lotus eye of Sri Chaitanya Dev to drink nectar. As the Lord's lotus feet move on the pretext of visiting Vrindavan, when will that Srimad Rūpa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Pita Shri Gaur Parambuja Madhu Madhiran Matahid Bringarajo Rajaishvaryam Jaho Yojana Nigaha Hita Data Chito Nijagriyam Vignapya Swanujena Vajagamanaratam Chanvagat Gaura Chandram Sashi Rupa Kadamam Nijapara Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidate. Vishnupriya, you want to read that number?
Yes. I try. At Sri Ramakeli Dama, the king of beasts, the herd of Sri Rūpa became intoxicated, drinking the honey wine of the lotus feet of Sri Gaurachandra and sacrificed its life in Hari Kirtana for the benefit of all the people of the world, summarily abandoning a life of kingly opulence. After informing his elder brother, Sri Sanatana, Sri Rūpa and his younger brother, Sri Balaba, followed the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Deva, whose heart was absorbed in going from Nilakala to
Nilachal
to Sri Vrindavan, when while that Sri Rūpa Prabhu graced me with the dust of his holy lotus feet,
Vrindaranyat Prayage Harirasanat Nirnama Sankirtanaischa Lebeyo Madhavagre Janagahana Gatam Prema Matam Janamscha Bhavaisver Madayantam Hittanidirivatam Krishna Chaitanya Chandram Sashi Rupa Kadamam Nija Pararajasa Ushitam Samvidate. Radharani, you want to?
Sri Chaitanya Dev returned from Vrindavan to Prayag Dham and performed Nama Sankirtan, surrounded by crowds of hundreds of thousands, intoxicated with divine love, dancing. He captured the hearts of hundreds of faithful souls with his astonishing transcendental ecstasies. Sri Rūpa, as though regaining his most precious treasure, thus found Sri Chaitanya Dev in the direct presence of the deity Sri Bindumarava. When will that Sri Rūpa Prabhu praise me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
Ekantam Lamda Padambhujani Jahridaya Prishta Pacho Maharti Danya Dukashu Parner Dashana Jita Chinai Pujayamasa Gauram Santa Krishna Krishnanja Ganga Dinamani Tanaya Sangame Sanujoya Sashi Rupa Kadamam Nija Pararajasa Ushitam Samvidate. At the sacred spot on the confluence of the Ganga and the Jamuna, Sri Rūpa achieved intimate union with the lotus feet of the dearmost Lord of his life, the Lord who is Krishna within and Gaura without. In grave humility, with straw in mouth and with tears of sorrow, he, along with his younger brother, worshipped Sri Gaura Krishna in intense love, When will that Sri Rūpa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet? Do you want to read that Sanskrit, Didi, for number 5? Is it number 5?
I try. Swasya prema swarupam vijatajuta vilasanu rupaika rupam durebula luntitam yam sahasya sahaya sumadura srijutam samjancha dristva devo titurnam stuti bahu mukham asvisya kadam raranti Sasi Rūpa Karaman Nijapara Rajasa Bhushitam Sambi Bhakti. Number 5.
Sri Chaitanya Dev saw Sri Rūpa and his younger brother rolling on the ground some distance away. Seeing his
endeared
one, his favorite, his love living personified in natural and beauty and charm, his exclusive alter ego in divine pastimes. In divine pastimes. The Lord
swiftly means quickly.
The Lord swiftly approached Sri Rūpa, profusely singing his glories, and embraced him in ecstasy. When while that Sri Rūpa Prabhu graced me with the dust of his holy lotus feet,
Kaivalya prema bhumavakila rasa suda sindhu sanchara daksham yatvapyevancha radha pada bhajana sudam lilaya payayadyam shaktim sancharja gauro nija bhajana sudadana daksham chakada sashi rupa kadamam nija pada rajasa bhushitam samvidate. I have to find the right meter for this. It's very difficult. Adran, you want to read that? Number 6.
Sri Gaurahari knew that as an eternal associate of the Lord, Sri Rūpa was already proficient in wandering throughout the ambrosial ocean of all meadows, in the land of unalloyed love in Braya Rasa. Nonetheless, to expand his own pastimes, the Lord enabled him to drink the sweet ecstasy of servitude under Sri Radha, and empowered him with the skill to distribute the nectar of his personal devotion and service. When will that Srimad Rūpa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Buddha deshak charinda vipinam miha parikramya nila chalam yo katva kavyam ritai sarvaja yuva yugala vidanartai prakamam Rama Nanda Sarupadi Birapi Kavibistarpayama Sagodam Sashi Rupa Kadamam Nijapada Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidate.
When on the order of Sri Gauranga, Sri Rūpa visited Sri Purushottam Kshetra after completing the circumvallation of Sri Braja Mandala, he highly gratified Sri Chaitanya Dev and the sagacious devotee assembly headed by Sri Swarup Damodar and Sri Ramananda Roy by his ambrosial poetry on the pastimes of the divine couple of Braja. When will that Srimad Rūpa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
I'm going to read that Sanskrit. I'm going to read the Sanskrit next.
Lila Sangopange Sri Bhagavata Ihavai Jan Game Stavare Pi Samudhe Sagrajata Prabhu Viraha Rita Prajajivren jivendrijanam jaschasit ashrayaka stalam iva ragugopala jivadi varje sasi rupa kalamam nija palaras jasa pushitam samvidate.
Whose turn is it?
When the manifest Lila of the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev was withdrawn, all being, including the immobile entities, were mortified, deeply afflicted in sorrow. Sri Rūpa and his elder brother were the only shelter for even the intimate devotees of the Lord. Haydn V. Raghunath, Gopal Bhatta, and Sri Jiva, who had almost lost their lives in the Lord's separation. When will that Srimad Rūpa Prabhu graced me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Do you want to read that Sanskrit, Radharani, the next?
Srimurti sadhu prite prakatanam api tarvita kirtaritanam Sri Radha Krishna Paramya Vayanam Radhamadam Vishidam Rankajena Karatam Nikilam Ita Nija Vista Devepsitam Cha Sasri Rupa Karamam Nija Pararayasa Dushitam Samhidate. By writing many books, he gave the world all the most cherished desires of his worshipful Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev principally, revealing the service of the deity, establishing the pure code of conduct and devotion, revealing the lost holy places and revealing the path of spontaneous devotion, Radha Marga, in transcendental noble service to Sri Radha Govinda. When with that Srimad Rūpa Prabhu graced me with the dust of his holy lotus feet.
Nila Sangopakale Nilupari Karuna Karina Swaminaham Yatadabje Arpito Yapada Bhajanamayam Gaya Yitva Tulitam Yogya Yogyatva Bhavam Mamakalu Sakalam Dushta Buddha Aglinam Sashirupa Kadama Nijapada Rajasa Nishitam Samvidate. Just prior to the withdrawal, that word I cannot say, just prior to the withdrawal of his manifest Leela, my causelessly merciful divine master, Śrīla Saraswati Thakur, handed me over to the holy feet of that divine personality by having me sing the glorious prayer unto his lotus feet, Shri Rūpa Manjari Pada. Despite my lowliness, when will, disregarding all my various qualifications and disqualifications, Srimad Rūpa Prabhu graced me with the dust of his holy lotus feet. Jai Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī Prabhu ki Jai, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Jai. I'm happy we could do that. All right, well, who wants to sing? Hari Harai. Radharani, you want to sing? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Nidhi Hari Gopinata Madana Mohana Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sanja Gadadhara Shivasani Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rūpa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Jai Gosai Kori Chadana Vandana Yaha Hoike Vignana Shavisha Jai Gosai Jai Muita Dasa Kansa Bada Kada Denu Mora Kancha Grasa Ajira Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa About the announcing the festival. Well, I mentioned it. For those who are still online, please come on Saturday from 10:30, 11 a.m. We'll be having a grand festival. It is the 8th, is it the 8th anniversary?
Yes.
8th anniversary of Mahaprabhu's coming here, right? So please come and...
The 8th anniversary of Mahaprabhu coming, and also is the opening officially of this place in public.
Okay. So please come and bring your hearts and your enthusiasm and add to the grand Sankirtan Yagya which will be taking place.
Haribo.
Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Giridhari, Radha Giridhari Juki, Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki, Jai Shri Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki, Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki, Jai Shri Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki, Jai Shri Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj Ki, Jai Acharya Vrinda Ki, Jai Seva Vrinda Ki, Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Jai Jai Gaur